Belt Drive Betty, and with me is Daryl Brown, motorcycle lawyer, former drag racer, and all around pretty good guy. And I'd like to introduce you to Daryl and start, Daryl, by asking you, where did your love for speed come in that you were so successful at the track?
Love for speed. Got to be careful how I answer this, I guess. I mean, who doesn't like to go fast on a motorcycle? It starts as a kid, I think. You know, you see guys on motorcycles when you're young, you want to ride them. You get out there, you ride them, and you realize they go fast, and that's it. You continue to go fast on them. So eventually, if you want to continue to go any faster, you end up on a track.
Right.
That's what happens.
And you raced for how long?
Total of about 5 years.
What was your favorite moment as a racer?
Well, there was a lot of favorite moments, I think, but probably what I liked most about racing, other than you know, going down the track at a high rate of speed, was the camaraderie amongst the fellow racers that we had. I raced in the Canadian Motorcycle Drag Racing Association and the All Harley Drag Racing Association in the United States, and the gentleman that I raced with, who is now passed on, Dennis Mark, owned Denko Motorcycle Shop in Cloverdale, British Columbia. And Dennis had been building motorcycles out of his mother's garage going back to the 80s, and I'd known him since I started riding American motorcycles in the late 70s, early 80s. And we became friends, and at some point, you know, my involvement in his racing program sort of led to us hanging out together. And I think that friendship and what we did together, and all the other fellows that were involved in the program, and all the other guys that were racing, it was just a big happy family. It was a lot of fun. I had a great time doing it. That's probably...
When did you decide to become a lawyer? How do you marry going fast and being a lawyer?
Well, being a lawyer was something I thought about doing when I was also a kid. For various reasons, I was exposed to some lawyers that that appeared to be having fun and doing a job that they appeared to like, and as lawyers, they were helping people. And I just thought that it was interesting. I didn't necessarily think that I was going to do it. It just seemed interesting. Out of high school, there was a little bit of time before I ended up going to university. It's not a cheap proposition.
No.
It's expensive. You've got to pay for school and survive and work and do all these things while you're going there. And you know, as a motorcyclist, I continued to ride motorcycles, and after I ended up eventually coming out of law school, it just seemed like a great opportunity to use the knowledge, the trade, the ticket of being a lawyer to practice in the area of motorcycle law.
That's an interesting story, how as a young man both of your primary passions seem to have come very early in life. What are you riding today?
I've got two motorcycles. I've started in the dirt as a kid, and then went into American bikes, Harley Davidson motorcycles. I bought a 68 Shovelhead in, I think, about 1980, and I still have that bike. It's custom. It's unfortunately, I wrecked it. It's a chopper now, but it's a pretty neat looking chopper in an original rigid frame, a Harley Davidson straight leg original frame, so the old panhead frame,
right,
pre-swing arm, with a 68 Chevrolet engine in it, which I was able to put out to about a little over 80 inches with a bunch of modifications, which I know how to build engines and transmissions. Obviously, we learned how to do that when we were younger. And it's a pretty go-fast bike, nice and light, pretty quick. And the other bike I have is a Ninja. So
Now, why does that not surprise me?
it's sort of a schizophrenic sort of way to ride motorcycles, but it's fun.
Yeah.
What the heck?
What's your favorite road to ride?
Well, I live in British Columbia. I've traveled a great deal of Canada and the U.S. There's a lot of great roads out there, but I'll say that we're very fortunate in British Columbia to have, well, I live in a mountainous region with a lot of great roads close to the coast and inland, and I really enjoy riding from Vancouver out to the Kootenays and Highway 6, and which goes over the Monashee Mountain into the Nakusp region. Also goes from around Castlegar Nelson up into the same region, and those are great roads. My personal favorite, my one little track that I really like is the New Denver Caslow Road, which kind of goes over the hill from New Denver to Caslow, so from that same region.
That's a beautiful ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So now we know a little bit about Daryl, the rider. What is it like being a lawyer who rides? Do you ever ride to work?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah? And what do the other lawyers and some of the judges and the people you interact with in that little more professional society think of you for doing that?
Obviously, it's a little bit different. And you know, maybe at first it was odd, but you know, I mean, I fit in. I do a good job. I have fun. I get along, and it's not a problem.
Right on. So, taking your work and bringing it into your personal life and vice versa, what fueled your passion for accident law?
Well, I was involved in an accident myself. I've been fallen off the bike a few times over the years. I mean, it just goes with the territory. But I was involved in a serious motorcycle accident in 1995, a number of orthopedic injuries, some serious trauma. So I have lived through the hardship that one goes through when they're involved in a motorcycle accident, or any kind of accident for that matter, where your body is badly injured. You're not able to recover for a long period of time. The physical hardship, the financial hardship that comes with that. So when I meet people that are involved in motorcycle accidents, I can become, I think, empathetic. I mean, we can all be sympathetic, but to have lived through it and understand what the individual is going through is quite helpful. So that helps, if that answers the question.
Understanding that you can bring that level of empathy into your job, do you think that also makes you more passionate in the courtroom? And we both know that a lot of law has to do with not just the facts you present, but in the way that you present them. And when you can come from a place of authenticity, people know that. As a lawyer, that's got to be a pretty big plus for you in that courtroom.
Oh, I think so. You know, I think that it starts with credibility with your clientele.
Right.
I mean, when I'm first examine a motorcycle case, it starts with the investigation. Who's at fault for this accident? We know that if we cause our own misfortune, we're not able to claim. But if somebody hurts us, then we're able to go after that party for the negligence. And you know what'll happen a lot of times is you'll have police officers who are on the scene that don't do a thorough investigation, or they're biased towards motorcyclists. I mean, that's a very common theme. Motorcyclists are found liable due to the police bias or the investigator's bias. And you know, the classic example I like to give is when you see a police report show up, and it says that the motorcycle could have stopped before hitting the car that turned left in front of it, which is usually the case, if it had not been going so fast. And you think, well, wait a minute, why do we say that the motorcycle was going so fast? When I look at the skid mark that was laid down on the road, it's an S-shaped skid mark. That's not a skid mark that was brought on by a front and a rear brake. That's clearly a rear brake skid mark, normally through a panic a situation, somebody didn't get an opportunity to apply the front brakes, they just hammered a back brake, and the next thing you know, that bike slid into the car. So if we look at something like that and we realize that the motorcycle isn't going to stop as fast if it's only using a back brake, 70% of your braking power is in the front brake, 30% in the rear, then that motorcycle couldn't have stopped with a rear brake only application prior to that car turning left in front of it. That's the reason that there was impact. It's not because the motorcycle was going that fast. So then put engineering into it, back the speed up, or the distance up, apply the speed factor to it, and that's just one example, and there's lots of different examples.
And so when you're in that courtroom, because you've experienced exactly step by step what every rider goes through from the time of the crash to the time that there's some kind of financial resolution and some supports put in place for that person's long-term situation, that obviously gives you so many places to know where to look in a case, in notes, and what to look for. It must give you a real heightened awareness when you're going through police reports and insurance inspector reports and that kind of thing.
Absolutely. I mean, you talk about trying to make a more efficient case. I think that when you become involved in the case and having some additional understanding, it's easy to use the information that you might have gathered firsthand through your own experiences, also the knowledge that you've developed over time by employing experts, engineers, or other investigators that are going to be able to help you tell that story. And that's really what it is the courtroom becomes a story telling mission, really. You know, the individual, the trier of fact, the jury, whoever's going to hear that needs to understand the story that you're going to tell. It has to make sense for them to be able to find and rule in favor of your client.
When you said the word telling a story, it also made me think about your ability to ask your client the right questions quickly to cut through a lot of their fears and concerns by simply getting to the facts very quickly and being able to say, and what happened to you when this took place? Things that they probably wouldn't have thought about had you not asked that right question. So again, it comes back to credibility, the fact that you've been there as a rider and that you're a long-term rider. This isn't just an area of law you're practicing because it's lucrative. There's a personal connection here.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I always like to say that I'm able to do what I want to do. I'm not doing what I have to do, right? And it's not really about making money out of the deal. It's about having fun, working for the people that I like to work. I can relate to my clientele. I am my clientele, right? So that's what it is for me. I get up every morning and I know I'm going to work to have fun and meet people that are like me.
That's a pretty enviable place to be for most human beings. I think
it's fun.
It's something we all aspire to be doing a work that we're passionate about, because then it becomes about being of service to others. The other stuff is just fringe benefits.
For sure.
But that core soul need is filled automatically because you're doing what you're meant to do.
That's right.
This has been an awesome conversation, and I would love for you to now tell riders where can they find you if they want more information about, what to do after a crash, if they're looking for a lawyer, if there's, tell us a little bit about how they go about getting in touch with you, what happens when
First,
they do.
If you've been involved in a crash and you would like to ask some questions or contact me, visit our website. It's www.motorcyclelawyer.ca. My contact information, we're in the Lower Mainland, British Columbia. We go throughout the entire province and sometimes into other jurisdictions. So that would be across the line, Washington State and Alberta. The telephone number is 604-612-6848. And we're usually able to answer that telephone right away, weekends and other times. If not, please leave a message and we'll call you back. In the beginning, depending on where it is in the Lower Mainland, it's a lot easier to get to where they are. If they're outside Lower Mainland, certain situations will come to them. And the initial consultation is a conversation to find out what happened in that particular accident, to determine if there's a liability issue, if there's witnesses that need to be contacted, what the police have done to date, if we need to go to the accident scene and take photographs. You know, and I said telling a story, that's a very simple way of putting it. The idea really is to prove the evidence, and the evidence is going to be found in the beginning, in the very beginning. So the sooner that we're able to get to that accident site and take photographs of the skid mark that was left before it rains or before weather sets in or the skid mark fades, the sooner the better. Or witnesses that need to be contacted before they move away, before they forget what it is that happened, before the insurance company has got to them and put a different story into their head. I mean, we want to get on it as soon as possible, so that's what happens.
Thank you very much for your time today, Daryl. And again, Daryl Brown, motorcyclelawyer.ca, a biker who really knows what it means to be of service to his community and fuel his passion for motorcycling. Until next time, I'm Belt Drive Betty.